Hello and welcome to the video. This video is part of a continuing series of videos that I am making exploring the relationship between veganism and how powerful a force for good it is to make the world a better place. To understand how this is possible, I'm going to use a personal real world example. I currently live in the UK. Like the rest of Western politics, you either vote red or blue. The world we live in today is a capitalist plutocracy. This is a world run by the ultra rich, for the ultra rich. Those that have wealth have power and they make the rules by which everyone else must abide by. However, in recent years, as the mainstream parties in the UK have essentially become one and the same, this has created a void that is being filled by other political parties. One such party in the UK is the Green Party. I'm going to talk about a recent experience that I had involving the Green Party and how this relates to veganism and understanding how this can make people's lives better as well as the rest of the world. Yes, I may have just mentioned politics, but this does not mean that the video is going to be boring. No, it's not going to be boring. It's going to, in fact, the opposite is true. You are going to find out some very important information that most people continue to remain ignorant of at their own downfall and society's downfall. You must understand that the current system of democratic voting is a pantomime. Every voting cycle is a charade. People continue to be brainwashed and conditioned by the media into believing that their vote at the ballot box means something. It means nothing. It carries absolutely no weight whatsoever in the course of world history. Western democracy is a lie with the sole purpose of sedating the mass of humanity to allow the continuation of the system of capitalist exploitation. There's no meaningful change or impact that can come from voting because the very candidates that are put before people on the ballot box have already been pre-selected by industry. The democratic ideals of having choice is a fantasy. The candidates on the ballot box are there to represent the interests of their financial backers from industry. These are the industries that have the most power in the current plutocratic system, capitalist system, which include the fossil fuel industry, big pharma, the automotive industry, the big meat industry, and the industrial military complex. The capitalist system of extracting ever more of the Earth's the capitalist system of extracting ever more of the Earth's finite raw materials for the production of infinite profit means that there is infinite capital available to buy politicians. Democracy itself was bought by capitalism and has been owned by industry since the 1800s. The blue and red candidates that are put in front of people for their vote are not there to listen to the voters and to be representatives of the people. No, that's not the case. A plutocratic world means that the representatives in the parliamentary system are not there to represent the best interests of the people, who are the ones that actually voted for them. Politicians are there to represent the best interests of big business. This is the political game that goes on all the time in the halls of power. Those that have the most money have the most power over law and policy makers. This is the whole point of capitalism. Power generates power, and power creates more power. This is called consolidation. Wealth and power is leveraged to generate as much wealth and power as possible into the hands of just a few. The political system is cheap to buy. Politicians, they cost thousands of dollars each, while the profits of individual industries alone are now in the trillions. The idea of the Green Party is that it is a left-wing party that represents the interests of the people and therefore the planet. But how does this relate to the Green Party and also veganism? Well, I recently attended a Green Party meeting and I was shocked at what I had to witness. To understand the world, we must look at it from a bird's eye view. This is how we will understand why being vegan is the most important thing that we everyday people can do to make the world a better place. To be more precise, veganism is not a thing to do, but it is actually a way of thinking. To be vegan is to change your way of thinking. It is to see the world by simple moral and ethical principles. Before every action, you think of the consequences of that action. Does this product cause suffering to animals? If the answer is yes, then the consequences make that action simply impossible to carry out. You do not buy the animal product. In the UK, there is a main Green Party which supports people becoming elected as members of Parliament. The equivalent in the US would be the House of Representatives. Below this national level Green Party, there is then the local regional parties. In early 2026, I went to a meeting of the local Green Party in my area. In the catchment area for this region, there is a population of some hundreds of thousands of people. At this party meeting, I was hoping to be able to find like-minded people that could see what was most important. But I did not, sadly, and I was left with a very bitter taste in my mouth. The reason that veganism is so important is that it creates a ripple effect. This is when one person does a good thing, and then this ripples out, and that affects and affects that ripples out and affects people around them in a positive way, and so the world becomes a better place for everyone. To be vegan supports the three main pillars of creating a better world. Firstly, a world free from animal suffering and exploitation, from animal agriculture, cosmetics, animal testing, and for clothing. Of these, the easiest way to make the world a better place is to stop buying animal food products. This is because over 90 billion land animals and over 2 trillion, that's with a T, trillion marine animals are killed every year for animal food products. This is what would be called the lowest hanging fruit that anyone can do to reduce the suffering of animals on this planet. This is as easy as going down a different aisle in the supermarket. For example, instead of going down aisle 20, you would go down aisle 16. Secondly, veganism reduces the environmental impacts of food production. To be able to breed enough animals to be killed for the demand of meat requires a vast amount of fossil fuels, fresh water, and also land is required to convert the low-calorie plant foods into high-calorie fat in the tissues of livestock. This exploitation of animals comes at the cost of environmental destruction. Fertile soil is lost, fresh water is polluted, and the natural world is slashed and burnt to be replaced by monocrops of mainly corn and soybean, and the conversion of forest into grazing land for cattle. Thirdly, to eat a low-fat vegan diet based on starch and fruit is the most healthy diet. The staples of starch and fruit is the human species specific diet. A vegan can also eat vegan pizza and burgers, But this completely misses the point, because it is often those companies that make vegan versions of also that make vegan options, they are also continuing to make the same animal products. For example, you may think that you are being clever in buying vegan cheese, but it is most likely that the same company is making dairy cheese as well, continuing to contribute to animal suffering. I was able to witness at the Screen Party meeting what I already knew to be true. There seems to be nobody that can see that there must be a complete and unified message of making the world a better place. And veganism is right at the center of that. The whole point of the Green Party and veganism is to make the world a better place to live now and into the future. Therefore, the unified message is simple: animals, people, planet. It is that easy. This gives the basic framework by which a political party could potentially wipe the floor with all other political opposition. This is such a simple and easy message that would be universally supported by most people, yet at the Green Party meeting I went to, this could be further from the truth and reality. What was it that I saw that was so shocking? As I stated previously, the unified message is animals, people, and planet. The meeting that I went to was at a grassroots level of the Green Party. However, if this is the state of the other local Green Party groups in the UK, then they have been shanghaied by those that have nothing to do what should be the core message of the Green Party. Several times during the meeting, I heard the term political refugee. Political refugee. This was to describe those people who had once voted for the main political parties but no longer found themselves able to do so. This means that these people no longer had interest in the main two political parties of red and blue and were forced to find an alternative in the Green Party rather than the Greens being their first go-to choice. Why is this an important point? This means that people are not seeking the Green Party because it aligns with the morals and ethics of creating a better world, but it simply is the lesser of two evil options for people that still believe in the fantasy of democracy. If what I saw at this party meeting represents the majority views, then the Green Party does not have any idea what it is doing, and therefore it continues to be that there is no mainstream political movement or opposition to make the world a better place, even at the grassroots level. The people have the power. The 99% have the power and not the ultra rich. But the people also have the power to behave badly. With great power comes greater responsibility. The people do not, and they still do not realize that they have the power to control the means of production, and likewise, they have the power to make the world a better place. Let me give you the insight into how we can make the world a better place without wasting precious time at a political meeting or worrying about the fake politics in the media. If you are interested in politics, or maybe you watching this video right now, maybe even you are thinking of joining the Green Party, or you're part of a left wing socialist Green Party, or maybe you're a member of the Green Party, then I have some life changing advice for you. Are you listening? The name given for the unified theory of making the world a better place is called veganism. Firstly, how do we reduce the suffering on this planet? It is so easy. Eat a low fat, plant based diet of starch and fruit. Wow. How easy is that? This could be fruit for breakfast, then a smoothie for lunch, and then a starch based meal for dinner, such as a bowl of white rice and some delicious spicy tomato sauce. During my time at the meeting, the Green Party members I heard said a number of absurd statements that made me question if I was actually at a Green Party meeting. This is despite there being a large Green Party banner on the floor that suggested otherwise. During the meeting, I was called an extreme militant vegan with political beliefs that I was forcing onto other people. Do you realize how ridiculous this is? For over 3 hours, most people were still in their chairs. But for when I brought up the word vegan to the group, the entire room was full of squeaking of chairs as everyone suddenly squirmed in discomfort. When I mentioned using social media to help spread the word and educate people on the Green Party and being vegan, you could have cut the air with a knife. Again, I thought to myself, am I actually at a Green Party meeting or have I gone to the wrong place? Vegan food. During the lunchtime break, I was greeted to a table covered in slices of cake, slices of cheese, and pieces of meat. There was very little fruit, and there was essentially almost no starch options such as pasta or rice. There was, but it was very small. My reaction was to laugh out loud in disbelief. The state of food put forward on the table was horrendous. I had brought my own lunch of rice alongside some fruit and fruit juice. Throughout the day, I was again shocked to be asked the most stupid questions, like where do you get your protein and where is the actual scientific evidence that plant protein is actually healthy for you? During the meeting, the issue of funding was brought up several times, as it is always finances that are talked about and used as an excuse not to do anything and that nothing can be done. However, it seems that no one in the room was able to put two and two together that the animal products that had been purchased for the meeting by those who had attended had directly supported the political power of the opposition mainstream parties that they carried on talking about throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I had to listen through how the mainstream opposition parties receive funding from industry and that the Green Party always suffered from lack of industry funding. I understand this, and it is easy to see why. The Green Party represents the political left, and therefore it is the most anti capitalist of the mainstream options. I was then gobsmacked to see a lunch table covered in food products from the food industries that are backers of the same mainstream political position of the mainstream position parties. For that single lunch, more money was given to the food industries by those that attending the Green Party meeting that support the opposition parties than was actually given as donations directly to the Green Party. How ironic. I was absolutely horrified to see that it was not a vegan lunch, and at best, I think this was incompetence. In a previous video, I mentioned how the Epstein papers relates to veganism and gives a clear insight into how the world works. I was once again dismayed by another comment on my Green Party visit. This comment was along the lines of, maybe it wasn't a conspiracy theory, that it was a small group of elites that were controlling everything all along. I wanted to say, are you kidding me? This is the history of humanity. Kings and queens of royalty once controlled the world. Now it is the kings and queens of industry. Please understand, there is no such thing as conspiracies when it comes to the ultra rich and powerful. These are the people who are currently deciding the destiny of the human species. They tell the mass of humanity how to behave, and so the 99% of people just do what they are told. People continue to be told and then believe that it is in their best interest to eat poisonous animal products. People continue to believe that it is in their best interests to die from heart disease and cancers. People continue to believe that it is in their best interest to destroy the planet. People continue to believe that mutually assured destruction is in the best interests of their children and their grandchildren. The state of health in this Green Party meeting was terrible. In 3.5 hours, not once did I see a smile from anyone else there. There was absolutely no energy whatsoever from any individual there apart from myself. I could have been at a knitting class that had more passion than what was on offer at this meeting. Most of the people there looked like they would rather be anywhere else in the world. A strange thing happened. On the agenda for discussion was food. It was actually the last thing on the schedule. The person who supposedly was going to talk about it did not turn up, and it never ended up ever being discussed. The state of health in that meeting was appalling, as most people there were in terrible shape. Part of communicating a message is to look like the embodiment of what you are communicating. Food is the most important factor that determines our overall health. If you are eating a starch and fruit-based lifestyle, then you will lose weight, you will regain your energy, you will be full of energy, and you'll be full of energy more so than probably what you've had since you were 10 years old. It does not come as a surprise to me that most people in society are overweight or obese. What people eat directly reflects what they look like on the outside. As most people's plates are as most people's plates reflect what was on offer at lunch that day, I can see that again no one has any idea what they're doing. The meaning of life is to make the world a better place, or at least to endeavour not to make it a worse place. Again, it's very easy. It is so easy to make the world a better place. The food we eat several times a day directly affects the world around us and the world that we live in. If you worry about the environment or even the rights of human beings, thinking about food choices are not impacted by other social justice and environmental justice movements. We can all do it at the same time. As I said at the meeting, most people in human history have been on the wrong side of social injustice. Most people have been on the wrong side of history, and it has always been a small number of people that have made the world a better place for everyone, like Gandhi. The sad thing is that it seems that there is even a smaller number of people who actually care and can see the bigger picture of how everything is connected. Everything is interconnected. We must realise this before it is too late. The political movement of the Green Party could completely dominate and wipe the floor with every other political movement if the party got its act together with the simple, unified message: animals, people, planet. After that, everything falls into place. Eat a starch and fruit-based lifestyle and ride a bicycle. It's that easy. Come on. This is the most elementary, easy stuff we can do. How can we get this wrong? The problems always arise because of stupidity, ignorance. We have the ability to control our own destiny and decide our own fate. Currently, we are choosing to make the world a worse place through fear and apathy. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your time. If you got any comments, then put them in the comments section. And it really is that easy. Animals, people, planet. The food is the most easiest thing we can do, based on foods like white rice and pasta and potatoes, along with fruits like bananas and blueberries and watermelons. You eat to feel full. You don't worry about calories. You enjoy eating the foods that are meant to be eaten by human beings, starch and fruit. And then, yes, the other amazing thing is the bicycle. The bicycle and veganism, a starch and fruit based cycling lifestyle. How incredibly easy and cheap and affordable. The cheapest foods on the planet. The cheapest food on the planet is white rice, and that supports billions of people around the world. White rice. So there we go. We eat like the peasants. Eat like the peasants to feel like kings and queens. If you eat like kings and queens, we will see our species go extinct along with the destruction of the planet. So like and subscribe. It's very easy not to go extinct. It's actually more difficult to go extinct, but it's those that have the most power that are using that power to leverage change. Whereas the people, the 99% of people who have the power, are not doing anything. They're just going along, following what they're being told to do, which is to get fat and sick and not care about their health, not care about other people, not care about themselves, not care about them children, not care about their animals, not care about the environment, to not care or to show apathy to anything that isn't what they're told to believe. So there you go. That's Earthrise there, right there. So that's the little blue dot is what we are, the little pale dot in space. We have such a short time left to be able to save ourselves, so why not do it? If you want to find out what foods I eat and check out other videos on the channel, you'll be able to see that I'm always lean and healthy. You'll be able to see that I'm always lean. In fact, on the day that I went to the Green Party meeting, I was probably the leanest person there, who ate as much food as they ever wanted and doesn't exercise like a professional athlete. Okay. Eats to feel full, exercises to have fun. Okay. I ride my bike to have fun, not to lose weight. I ride my bike to have fun, and I eat to enjoy eating. And then that keeps me healthy and lean, and I enjoy that way of life. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.